Imagine waking up before dawn, books waiting, exams approaching, the convent silent except for the sound of your own footsteps. You reach for a sip of water, and in that moment, you stumble upon something you were never meant to see. By sunrise, your body is found at the bottom of a well, and your killers, they walk free for nearly 3 decades. This is the story of Sister Abhaya. If you've ever felt anger when the powerful escape justice, hit that like button. Subscribe, because today we're unraveling one of India's most disturbing crime mysteries, a young nun silenced, a cover-up that shook an entire state, and justice that arrived only after 28 long years. Kottayam, Kerala, 1992. A quiet town where church bells marked the rhythm of life, where convents were not just holy places, but homes for young women devoted to God. Among them was Sister Abhaya, only 21. She wasn't extraordinary in the worldly sense. She was like any of us at that age. She studied, she laughed with her friends, she set alarms to get up early for exams. But her quiet determination to serve God and live a life of discipline made her beloved. On March 27, 1992, Abhaya followed that same routine. She rose before dawn, exchanged sleepy greetings with the other nuns, and settled down with her books. At around 4 a.m., she walked to the convent kitchen, maybe to splash cold water on her face, maybe just to sip from the fridge. That was the last time anyone saw her alive. By morning, her absence was noticed. In the kitchen, a half-open water bottle, droplets on the floor, a single slipper. Panic spread. Soon, her other slipper was discovered near the well, and when the nuns peered inside, their screams pierced the convent walls. Sister Abhaya's lifeless body floated in the water. The convent went silent. Hours earlier, they had laughed over dinner. Now they were watching her being pulled out of a well. But what followed was stranger than her death itself. The police officer on duty filed a report, drowning, even though her body bore cuts, bruises, and a head inch. Eerie. The cause was marked as suicide. Suicide. Why would a young nun, preparing for exams, wake at 4 a.m. to kill herself? The fridge was left open, the slipper abandoned, the water bottle still in hand. It didn't add up. But official reports pushed this narrative. Clothes destroyed, diary gone, buried quickly, evidence vanishing. To the people of Kerala, it smelled of something worse than negligence. It smelled like a cover-up. One man refused to let this story fade. Activist Joman Puthan Parakal. He rallied others, formed an action committee, and forced authorities to reopen the case. Soon, the crime branch took over. Their conclusion? Suicide. Again. By now, whispers filled Kerala. Why were they protecting someone? Who could silence the police, the crime branch, even medical examiners? Finally, the Central Bureau of Investigation, the CBI, stepped in, and with them came chaos. In 1994, CBI officer Varghese P. Thomas resigned, publicly stating he was pressured to call it a suicide. Imagine that, an officer giving up his career because the truth was too twisted. Then, years later, a completely unexpected witness surfaced, a petty thief named Raju. Back in 1992, Raju had snuck into the convent grounds at night, planning to steal copper wires. But instead of loot, he stumbled onto a nightmare. He saw a priest's scooter outside. He saw Father Thomas Kotor. He saw Sister Sephi, and he saw something that made his blood run cold. The next day, when news of Abhaya's suicide spread, Raju knew what he'd witnessed wasn't ordinary. But how could he speak up? He was a thief. Who would believe him? Years later, guilt pushed him forward. He told the police what he saw, and they tried to pin the murder on him. He was jailed, tortured, offered money, even promised a house if he would confess. But he refused. Think about that. A petty thief, with nothing to his name, showed more integrity than the entire system meant to protect the innocent. In 2008, the case finally exploded. Father Thomas Kotor, Sister Sephi, and Father Jose were named as suspects. Narco-analysis tests were conducted, But when the results arrived in court, the CDs had been tampered with, edited dozens of times. Yet somehow, the unedited versions leaked. On live TV, Carola watched in shock as the truth spilled out. The recordings revealed that in the early hours of March 27th, Sister Abhaya had stumbled into the kitchen and found Father Kotor, Father Jose, and Sister Sefi in a compromising situation. Panicked, she tried to flee. They couldn't let her. Sister Sefi grabbed an axe, struck her head, and together they dragged her body to the well. For decades, the case dragged. Witnesses recanted. Neighbors changed their stories under pressure. Evidence was destroyed. The system bent over backward to protect the guilty. But activists persisted. Journalists kept the fire alive. And Raju, the thief, never changed his story. Finally, in December 2020, 28 years after Sister Abhaya's murder, the Kerala High Court convicted Father Thomas Kotor and Sister Sefi of murder, sentencing them to life in prison. Think about the weight of those words, life in prison. For nearly 3 decades, Sister Abhaya's killers lived free, protected by power, shielded by influence. They believed they were untouchable. But justice did not forget. And when it came because of the most unlikely hero, a thief who refused to sell his truth. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button. Tell me in the comments, do you think justice delayed is still justice served? And don't forget to subscribe, because more stories like this, stories of power, betrayal, and ultimate justice, are coming your way.